Please have a seat. I will too. There's something special about Christmas morning, especially nowadays. It used to be that the church would be packed full on Christmas morning. Some of you might remember those days, but then the masses drifted to Christmas Eve, and the very late service would be the one where the place would be packed, right? Now, the very late one has a lower attendance. The afternoon one, and maybe the very early evening, those are the ones that people go to. I guess we're more tired than we used to be. But I'm glad you're here this morning. In a book called Sharon's Christmas Prayer by John Shea, he writes this: "She was 5 and sure of the facts, and recited them with solemn solemnity, convinced every word was revelation. She said, they were poor, so poor, they only had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to eat. And they went a long way from home without getting lost. The lady rode a donkey, the man walked, and the baby was inside the lady. They had to stay in a stable with an ox and an ass. But the 3 rich men found them, because the star lighted the roof. Shepherds came, and you could pet the sheep, but not feed them. Then the baby was born. And do you know who he was? Her quarter eyes inflated to silver dollars. The baby was God. And she jumped in the air, whirled around, dove into the sofa, and buried her head under the cushion, which is the only proper response to the good news of the Incarnation. I think that's a great first proper response to the good news of the Incarnation. This amazing thing that happened, that God takes on human flesh. You know, it's only Matthew and Luke's Gospels that tell us the story of the birth of Jesus. The other 2 Gospels don't want to dwell on it. They're interested in the Incarnation sort of more theologically. God took on flesh, but Matthew and Luke want to humanize it for us. Yeah, he actually was a baby first, and he grew up as a child, and then became an adult. What an amazing thing. If we really take it to heart, we might all want to jump on the sofa and bury our head under a cushion. God is with us. God is here. And the complete message tells us that God is within each and every one of us. You are a Christ bearer. You. Years ago, in the aftermath of 9/11, I volunteered a number of times to be a chaplain down at Ground Zero. And just before Christmas, I was there with another friend of mine, and on one of these long 10-hour shifts. And there was a group from New Orleans who were serving gumbo. I called it Gumbo for Good. And so at some point in the afternoon, we decided we would walk over, take a little break, and eat something. So we went, we sat down, the food was great. But at each place, there was a little Christmas ornament. My Christmas ornament was made by a little girl named La Porsa from New Orleans. And it was in the shape of a candle, and she had colored it in. And on the back was a picture of her, which I cherish to this day. But she also wrote something on the back. She wrote, "Be a light for others. Be a light for others." John's Gospel tells us that the Christ, Jesus, came into a world darkened by misery and sin and violence, and became the light of the world. So what we're given as Christ's people is that light. And so we actually have to get off the couch, take the cushion away, and we have to go out into our part of the world, whatever it is, and be a light for others. Because in the way our theology works, it's as if Christ is continually being born into the world again and again. And how does that happen? Through us. We're the light. Oh, lots of days we're pretty dim light, right? I can confess to that. But we're the light nonetheless. So when you leave church this morning, remember your mission, your ministry. Be a light to yourself, be a light to your family, but beyond that, be a light to your neighbors and the community. This world needs all the light it can get. Be the light.